So today we're talking about student groups. I want to get into age differences a little bit.
Mhm.
Would a high school group look and function the same as an elementary school group?
I mean, it's still a group of students, but other than that, I would imagine that it would look and work a little differently.
Mhm.
Most notably is in the teacher involvement in the group. As an elementary school teacher with groups, you've really got to be involved. You've got to make sure those groups are completing what you've given them. You've got to make sure that they are able to get materials and that they clean them up right and that they're sharing. Certain things like that can really eat into group time. I imagine you didn't have to do too much of that in high school. Maybe you did.
No, not a whole lot. And so, if we're talking about, teacher choice, we talked a little bit about some options that a teacher has when they're forming groups, but a teacher doesn't always have a choice, right?
That's
And,
true.
and
Yeah.
sometimes you have to adapt to that. So, can you give us a little bit of suggestions about how to adapt?
Sure. A group that you might not get a choice in, usually that's one where students have been grouped based on a common score on an assessment, right? So you have a bunch of students who are functioning at a similar level. And so one way that you want to handle that, and one strategy for making that work is, first of all, you've got to differentiate by material. You've got to make sure that you have a material that's appropriate for that level of student based on the assessment. And of course, there's always behavior management challenges with groups you don't make, because a lot of times you may have students in there that you would never have put in the same group. And so, you make the adjustment quickly. You may alter some rules. And again, you've got to be involved until that group is rolling along.
Yeah, great. So, when you're thinking about lesson planning and you're looking at what's coming up and your activities that you want to do, how do you determine what should be a group activity, what maybe is best as pairs, and what even is better as an individual?
I think for me, it always comes down to the same two factors. I love doing group work, and certainly it can be really fun and very tempting to do a whole lot of. But that first factor is time. We have a lot of material to get through as teachers in a given year, and sometimes groups just aren't the most time-effective way. And then the other thing is, I always try to keep in mind what is the most effective strategy for the learner to learn the material, to have time to practice it. And again, groups sometimes aren't the best method for that. Now, when you have things that are begging for a student discussion or things, content or process skills that are experiential, problem-based, inquiry science, those things are always great for groups. So in those times, I might be willing to give up a little of the time.
Right. Great. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us today.
You're very welcome.